Hare Krishna devotees, today we're discussing the verse number 7.28, that is from the chapter number 7, verse number 28. This verse explains about who are the people who do not come to Krishna consciousness, and we will see more details on that. Okay, Yesham tu antargatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dhrudavrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So here are some qualifications of how one can be engaged in Krishna's service. So those who have acted piously, yesham tu antargatam papam, that is jananam punya karmanam. Punya karmanam means those who have acted very piously in their previous lives. And yesham tu antargatam papam means in this life, and then whose sinful actions are completely eradicated. There are no sinful reactions anymore for such kind of people. They dvandva moha nirmukta. These devotees who have acted piously in their previous life and in this life whose sinful reactions are completely eradicated are dvandva moha nirmukta, freed from delusion, that is dualities of delusion. Dvandva moha, duality of delusion. Nirmukta, completely free. What do? Bhajante mam dhrudavrataha. They will worship Krishna. Right? So this is a very fundamental verse which explains very nicely that how when we become cleansed completely, we will be able to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the coming from the chapter number 7. So the name of this chapter is called as the knowledge of the absolute. This is where Krishna is actually revealing his supreme position. So what do we understand from this? What is the obstacle that is stopping us from engaging in Krishna consciousness with determination? That is explained here. There are 4 qualifications explained here. One is lack of punya karma, lack of pious activities. If one is lacking pious activities which he has done in the past life, he may not be able to come to Krishna consciousness. Second thing is papam. That is, a person who is very sinful, a sinful person cannot come to Krishna consciousness. Third one is a dvandva. Somebody who is in dualities, who is stuck in always thinking about profit or loss, happiness and sadness, always thinking in terms of dualities, heat and cold, okay, good or bad, okay, this is mine and this is not mine, something like that. In this kind of duality, that kind of a person who is in duality cannot come to Krishna consciousness. And moha is like complete delusion. That means I do not want to agree that I am the spirit soul. I want to continue my ignorance that I am the body. So in this ignorance, I shall continue. So this kind of attitude whoever is having, these people will not be able to come to Krishna consciousness. Right? So this is a very important verse, dear devotees, because you see, a lot of people say, I want to be spiritual, I want to be doing bhakti, but only some of them are actually able to do it. And why is that? Why is that some people not able to come to Krishna bhakti? That is the answer here, very clearly said. Only those free from sin and who have performed pious activities in their previous lifetimes, they can only approach Krishna with determination, dhrudavrataha. Okay, so we will see each and everything here. So when we said papa, what is the meaning of papa? Papa means any kind of an activity which is a sinful activity done against the injunctions of the scriptural version, Vedic version, if we are doing against it, that's called as papa. That is any act done for sense gratification that displeases Krishna, or doing any kind of an activity which is not dedicated to Krishna is also called vikarma. Vikarma leads to papa. Vikarma means any activity which is not done in Krishna consciousness is actually vikarma. Prabhupada writes in one of the purports. So it can be a good or a bad activity, doesn't matter. If it is not done in the right consciousness, in the consciousness to please Krishna, if any activity is done to please oneself or one's own senses, such an activity is vikarma. And such kind of vikarmas, when performed continuously, they result in papa. And this papa takes them further away from Krishna. And also, Krishna explains in this Bhagavad-gītā in the same chapter that there are 4 types of people who do not come to Krishna. They are called dushkritina or miscreants. Krishna says, Name dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradama mayaya pahrita jnana asuram bhavam ashritaha. So there are 4 kinds of miscreants. No, they are who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons. They do not surrender unto Krishna. So this is the meaning of antargatam papam. That is the sinful people, 4 types of sinful people who do not come to Krishna, who do not do this bhajante mam dhrudavrataha, who do not worship Krishna with determination, are these 4 types of miscreants. So the solution is that we take to punya, or that is also called as akarma or good karma. So if you have to do good karma, punya karma, it is not even enough if you do some kind of a charity or anything which is mentioned in the Vedas. That's not enough. You have to do it for the pleasure of Krishna. So when Krishna becomes pleased, then it becomes sukruti. So this sukruti only can take us to Krishna. So the ordinary punya karma will not be able to take us to Krishna. So we need to do sukruti activities. So what are these sukruti activities? You see, associating with the Supreme Lord, chanting the holy names of God, reading Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam, associating and serving the devotees of Krishna, partaking the remnants of the Lord called prasadam, visiting the holy places belonging to Krishna, serving Tulsi Maharani, worshipping the deities. Like that, there are so many activities which are supposed to be done. So these activities are called sukruti, and when somebody does that, such kind of people will be able to come to Krishna. And Krishna also says that there are 4 types of people. Chaturvida bhajante mam, who come to Krishna. Jana sukruti no Arjuna. These are sukruti. Sukruti means they are pious people. Who are they? Artho jignasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. That is the distressed artha. And the artharthi, desire of wealth. Jignasu, the inquisitive. And then we have the jnani, who is searching for the knowledge of the absolute. These 4 types of pious people can only come to Krishna. So to be able to come to Krishna, sinful people will not be able to come to Krishna, and it is only possible by association of the devotees of Lord Krishna that we can come to Krishna, right? So you see, I'll tell you a very important pastime in connection with this, right? So there were 2 people called Jagai and Madai. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And these 2, Jagai and Madai, they were drunkards. They were 2 brothers. And actually, they were Brahmanas. They were coming from the Brahmana families, but somehow they fallen down. And then what happened is they were engaged in all kinds of sinful activities like womanizing, gambling, etc. And then they used to disturb everybody and commit a lot of violence. You see. And then it is also said that Chitragupta was very tired. That is, the assistant of Yamaraj was tired of writing what all sinful activities these people have performed. So many sinful activities these people have performed. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given instructions to Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur to go door to door and ask them to chant the names of Krishna. So, Nityananda Prabhu took that instruction and he started to go door to door. It's like door to door delivery service, door to door delivery service of Harinam. Then he's going, knocking each and every door and requesting them, please chant the names of Krishna. Please chant the names of Krishna. So one day, Nityananda Prabhu came across these two sinful people who were drinking, Jagai and Madai. So Nityananda Prabhu went to them and said, my dear brothers, why are you engaging in these sinful activities of intoxication? Why don't you chant the names of Krishna? Then this Jagai and Madai became mad that they were given an advice. You see, a foolish person doesn't like an advice. And then they started chasing Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. And somehow Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu escaped from them. Again, on another occasion, Nityananda Prabhu managed to see them somehow. And then again, Nityananda Prabhu started to request them, my dear brothers, why don't you chant the holy names of Krishna? These holy names of Krishna can completely eradicate all your sinful activities and you can become great devotees. Krishna is so merciful. Krishna's names are so merciful that they can remove all your sinful activities. But when they become very, very furious now. So, Madai, he took a pot of a wine and then he broke it on Nityananda Prabhu. And then he smashed it against Nityananda Prabhu's head. And then his head started to bleed. And Nityananda Prabhu fell down there. And then somehow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got to know about it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rushed to the spot. And he said, who is that who has attacked my dear Nityananda? And then he called the Sudarshana Chakra. And he was about to kill Jagai and Madai. So at that point of time, Nityananda Prabhu was at the feet of Lord Chaitanya. He caught the feet of Lord Chaitanya and said, my dear Supreme Lord, you have appeared in this age of Kali to deliver the miscreants, those people who are full of sinful reactions, who have completely forgotten you. So, and then in this incarnation, you are distributing something very rare, which you have never done before. That is the love of Godhead, Krishna Prema, love of Krishna. Therefore, you should be merciful and do not kill them. And if you are very pleased with me, I request you to please give them Krishna Prema. So you see, here, this Jagai and Madai has come to kill Nityananda Prabhu, but Nityananda Prabhu is so merciful that he is requesting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give the highest perfection of life, that is the love of Godhead, to such a fallen person. And because, and then Madai immediately asked for forgiveness. He came to his senses. And then Jagai also asked for forgiveness. And then one after the other, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them Krishna Prema then and there. And they immediately became great devotees of the Lord. And they greatly repented for all the sins that they have done. Right? So what do we understand from this is, you see, even the most sinful people also can come to Krishna consciousness if they are in the association of the pure devotees of the Lord. This is very important. So therefore, it is essential that we accumulate punya karma. We associate with the pure devotees, do the Krishna conscious activities. And then that is how we become Drudha Vrataha. That is how we become fixed in devotional service. Right? So I tell you something very interesting. There's a nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? Which goes like this. Etam sa asthaya parama paratma nishtham. Etam sa asthaya paratma nishtham. Adhyasitam purvatamair mahatmibihi aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukandangri niveshavaiva. Okay. And then there is another verse which says, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.12.11, which says, Ittam satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena mayasritanam naradarakena sakam vijaruhu krita punya punja. The meaning of this is, the cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna are all highly pious souls, and their association with him is the reward of their many lives of pious activities. Krita punya punja. These boys are playing with Krishna, who is the supreme Brahman for the jnanis, who is the supreme deity for the devotees, and a mere child in the human form for those who are under illusion. But for these boys, Krishna is their beloved friend, and they engage in playful pastimes with him as equals. Such a beautiful verse. When we simply hear this verse, we get goosebumps. It's so beautiful, because it is describing how, you see, this cowherd boys, in Vrindavana, they're enjoying the company of Krishna as if he were to be their equal. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, master of all the living entities, master of all the universes, and from him the creation, and he is maintaining, and into him all the material worlds dissolve. That supreme personality of Godhead of all the universes, who is the origin of all the demigods, and who is the most powerful, most intelligent, full of 6 opulences, who is always situated in his transcendental abode, such supreme personality of Godhead has become an equal for these boys. So these are the Gopa boys, who are playing different types of games. In Vrindavana, they are engaging in different games. Just like in our childhood, we played a lot of games. We played Kho-Kho, we played Kabaddi, is it not? We play different games like football, running race, tug of war. You see, they're playing these kind of games with Krishna, right? Who is the Supreme Lord, right? So how did they get this qualification? How are they able to associate with Krishna as an equal in the form of a Saka, right? So this Supreme Lord is considered to be Parabrahman, right? Who is a Brahman for the Jnanis. The Jnanis are, working so hard to understand about Parabrahman. They're reading so many Upanishads, right? And they're doing so many strict austerities. And then what about the devotees? For the devotees, he's like the Paradaivatena. He's the supreme deity. He's a supreme God for them. And they're worshipping so very nicely to please him, right? And then, but only those people who are in delusion, they think that Krishna is a human being. Anybody who thinks that Krishna is a human being is actually Maya Shritana, completely in Maya. But what about the Gopa boys? Sakam Vijahru Krita Punya Punjaha. That what kind of pious activities they have done, we do not know. Krita Punya Punja, how much activity they have done, Punya, we cannot even estimate or imagine. That Krishna has become their equal, and they are all playing together with Krishna. So these cowherd boys, you see, who are playing with Krishna as equals, they are not ordinary living entities. They are Nitya Siddhas. And they are like, the great devotees of the Lord. Right? They are the great devotees of the Lord. So that's what it is, devotees. So today in this verse we have seen a very important point about Krishna consciousness, that unless we have a lot of punya, we cannot come to Krishna consciousness, right? So we see that there are so many people who are not able to come to Krishna consciousness. How do we understand that it is this, it's just this, that's it. This sloka is the explanation. That if somebody doesn't have sufficient pious credits in the past life, somebody is like very sinful, such a person, with whatever efforts that we may put or anybody may put, they will not come to Krishna consciousness. That's what Prahlad Maharaj also says. You see, some people come to Krishna consciousness by explaining to them. Some people come to Krishna consciousness without explaining to them. Themselves they come to Krishna consciousness. But there are some who will never be able to come So these people, they will not be able to come unless they get the association of somebody like Nityananda Prabhu. They'll never be able to come. That's unless they get the association of somebody very, very exalted, they'll never be able to come. And there's some rebellious souls who do not want to come also, and Krishna is giving them facility for that also. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā, Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. If somebody wants to forget Krishna, Krishna will say, yes, I will make you forget. He says, Matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. Apohana means completely forgetting Krishna. So if somebody wants to forget Krishna, then Krishna will give that facility that, they will be able to forget Krishna for many, many lifetimes. So just like he will cast them into the animal species, and the animals will have no possibility, no way to, associate with Krishna. And because it is their desire, Krishna fulfills their desire. So therefore, devotees, so from this, what we understand is, we have to, first of all, do Krita Punya Punja. That is, we have to accumulate a lot of pious activities, not the ordinary pious activities, but Krishna conscious Sukruti. Based on what the spiritual, bona fide spiritual master is telling us, teaching us, we have to be associating with Krishna. Then our devotional service will become with determination. Drudha vrataha. Bhajante mam drudha vrataha. So that is what will be resulting then. Okay. So Hare Krishna devotees, thank you very much for joining. And if anybody wants to add something, or if you have any questions, you can ask. Please, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.